Good evening, action and video fans. This is the General coming back at you with another Vault small haul. I think you can pretty well tell what some of these figures are. These are some of the most anticipated of this Marvel Legends year. And Professor X, 80 years worth of Marvel in Professor X. Check it out. Now, again, most of you that have been following the legends and been going on, I'm sure you've known about Professor X coming down the pipe hole and all that stuff. And what can I say? Again, this will be a little quick little review of this character. And what can I say? This is an awesome Professor X. What can you say? It captures all the essence and the goodness of I feel both of the comic and the cartoon. So I'm sure, and again, those that open these up and do all these reviews, I'm sure you know everything about what it does and everything. Honestly, I think it's the best Professor X that I have ever seen so far to date. I mean, not any of the, not like the previous generation Toy Biz. Professor X was cool in that it gave more weight, I suppose, to that classic Professor X in the actual wheelchair as opposed to the futuristic sort of hover chair that would come later. Personally, though, I mean, don't get me wrong, the wheelchair is awesome. But in all honesty, I have more of an affinity and a tie to the latter 90s, early to mid 90s Professor X with a hover chair, and because that's just pretty much what I was growing up with at that time. Really nice packaging on the side. Again, those that that have been, like I said, that have been keeping up with it, know all the pictures, know all the ins and outs of this piece. And as you can see, some nice artwork at the back. Him in the with the Cerebro and everything else. And oh hey, you can get Deadpool on a scooter with a dog. I think we already have like two of those already in the vault. Again, don't get me wrong, I love the Deadpool. He's my favorite Marvel character of all the time. But even I'm kind of saying I think they should maybe kind of lean off on the Deadpool a little bit, sort of lean back on that. Like, I don't really think they need to make him as many times as they make Spider-Man and some of the other guys. Part of the fun of collecting stuff like Deadpool was when they were, when there was only like one or two styles Deadpool. Now there's starting to be, he's starting to back up and be, as abundant as Spider-Man and things like that. So anyways, that's just that. But yes, getting back to Xavier, looking him awesome. What can I say? Yeah, retro Jim Lee comic goodness in 80 years Xavier. All right, and moving on to this 80-year pack duo. I'm pretty sure this lead needs very little introduction as well. In the Marvel 80 years Hulk and Wolverine 2-pack. And what can I say? I mean, if you're not only a Marvel Legends fan or a fan of the two guys, Hulk and Wolverine, I gotta tell you, this pack finally nails it. Finally. Again, if you are a classic fan of both characters, which I am now, when it comes to Wolverine, some people find, I think, that they have more of a tie to either the black and the brown costume or the later X-Men cartoons style costume, and they're not so much of a fan of how he looked when he originally first appeared per se. But I gotta say, again, this is all commemorating where it all started. And so, yes, the classic costume was definitely necessary for sure. My only one sort of gripe with it is just the shoulder pads. I wish there was a way that it would have been nicer if they were a little bit, more on top of his shoulders. But, it is packaging and like these are just, like little minor things. Otherwise, they nailed it. Classic Wolverine and, giving total wave to where it all started. But I think we can all agree the real star of the show is our big green Goliath sized massive hulking Hulk. And what can I say? I think this is the best Incredible Hulk. Yes, I just said that. You probably haven't heard that name in a long time. The Incredible Hulk, not the Smart Hulk. not the Mr. Fix-It Gray Hulk, not the, all these versions of Hulk. This is the Savage Incredible Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, that I feel I grew up with. And in all honesty, all the other Hulks that they've done, they always, I'm not saying that there have been some impressive entries, um, and even in the build of figures, but I gotta say that this is probably the best Hulk that I see so far that I grew up with. The big thing right now that people are going on about this pack, and I think in the end they they probably wished that they left Wolverine out of it and then just did a single Hulk. Because this Hulk is so amazing. Some people are hit and miss on and that's the real thing, is people are hit and miss on the classic Wolverine costume. I think when it comes down to it, like they could basically they could do or live without the classic Wolverine, and that's fine. But it's that, like, I mean, if they don't do a single of this Hulk, definitely pick up this pack if you're a fan of the incredible. I have to say, I don't know if you heard me, the Incredible Hulk, not the Smart Hulk, the messed around with Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. I wish they kind of put that in the title of the Hulk. That's about the only thing that maybe the packaging lacking, but otherwise the color is really good. Like the green is nice. I don't know. Some people, like the new retro Hulk that's coming out. I don't know if you've been keeping up with those retro guys, but he's cool. He's a little bit. I mean, he is a good looking Hulk. He's a little bit. He's a little bit more in tune with the early '90s Smart Hulk, which I don't mind. I mean, it looks really cool. A little bit of a darker green, but it really does give more wave to the the smart early '90s Hulk, and with the mushroom cut and all these other kind of things. So some people might like or not like that. Personally, this is what I grew up with right here in this Hulk. So what can I say? I mean, until I mean, I've seen some. I mean, the Marvel Select line is just pretty awesome and pretty impressive in their big guys. But I mean, all those other Hulks that have come in the Marvel Legends just kind of fall short of something. I mean, even the first Hulk in the Marvel Legends looked more like Franken Hulk, or like Frankenstein. Hulk is always a challenger to pull off well, and to combine not only the figure, the articulation, and the movements, but also the likeness. And sometimes his face is cool, or sometimes it's just absolutely retarded looking. So again, all kinds of evolutions of the Hulk, and he's evolved over the years. How many times? Did this form, that form? Some people like the Mr. Fix-It. Some people like the Smart Hulk. Some people like the savage, monstrous green Hulk. This is what I grew up with. And like I said, this pack, this 80 years pack definitely nails it, I think. Anyways, instead of going on and on and on about the Hulk envy or whatever, as you can tell, and of course this conflict, him and the Wolverine dynamic were always awesome. And, I can't deny that it's one of my sort of favorite sort of camaraderies or frenemies or whatever you would call them from time to time. They had awesome chemistry both in the comics, and I'm sure if they ever do it hopefully if they ever have it cross on screen, I don't know if they could ever create a circumstance in the in what's up and coming to do something like that. But what can I say? They had awesome chemistry both in comic form and in animated form. And anywho, so we've actually, and this is also kind of a shout out to the Room Show Sucks, because they just reviewed the Colossus Juggernaut pack, which again, when picking up when making the decision to either pick up the Hulk or the Juggernaut Colossus pack, it was a definite tough call because both packs are awesome. I gotta say, like even the Juggernaut Colossus one, hopefully I'll get a review on it. But if I don't on the action video, check out the Room Show Sucks, because they just did one. It's awesome. And even in the Juggernaut, again, they're definitely hitting it out of the park with some of these 80 years guys for sure. I had the choice also too, like the Thor and the Iron Man, but I ended up You know, like they do Thor and they do Iron Man quite often enough. Definitely in Iron Man, and they look amazing. These 80 years guys definitely, the ones in the boxes for sure, they look amazing. We haven't gotten any of the X-Men retro waves yet, but the Marvel 80 years look really good. They definitely take it away from that Toy Biz look. Um, and definitely modernize it and everything else. But they don't lose that awesome Silver Age, uh, early Bronze Age comic look. And I think that's what a lot of us, those that are buying these Marvel Legends up like they're plastic crack or whatever, are loving these 80 years things, and these are the looks that these people grew up with, and so I think they're really hitting with that demographic. Anyways, folks, so there it is: the Hulk, Wolverine, and Xavier, small hauls, and what can I say? I want them all. I want to get the rest of them. So stay tuned for that. General out.